this is Stokely. He is a Maltipoo. He comes to me every 8 weeks, and when we do a shorter cut on him with a cute little teddy bear face, and he comes with his sisters, Ava, who's also a Maltipoo. So what I'm going to start with first is I'm going to start with a curved shear. This is 6 inches from Aussie Dog. I'm going to go in his face, and I'm going to first trim right here. There. Thank you, buddy. And then we're going to trim on the other side, the corners of the eyes first. I do use a clipper in between the eyes. I use the Arco Wall 5-in-1 clipper. I use it on the last setting, which I think is a 9. And then I just go in between the eyes and scoop out very delicately. And then you're going to scoop out the corners as well. You don't have to use the scissors initially. You can just scoop out with this, but I like to have more space to look at. So you see his face. Let's try to put it a little closer. Stokely. So you see his face. It looks a lot more open, and his eyes are able to see more when we shave right there. Okay. So you may not be able to hear the next couple steps because I do use a clipper back to clip most of my dogs. I have another video kind of showing how to use the clipper back, but basically here's the attachment for the clipper back. It attaches to an assortment of different clippers. This one is the Andis 5-speed, and so basically what you want to do is you want to clip with the clipper back a size or 2 bigger than you normally would if you were using a regular clipper like this. So let's first start out with the yellow comb, which is the 0 and 5/8 of an inch. We're going to start and see what kind of size that looks, and we're going to probably go a little shorter. Mom wants to go a little longer than he usually does. We usually shave them down because they only do come once every 8 weeks, and but let's try this out. We're going to start out with the top, and by the way, this is closed, so it makes it even shorter. I'm going with the grain because he is like a poodle coat, but if it was a straight coat, you would go reverse. Now we're just going to quickly get most of it on one side off and kind of check the length. This is what I would probably do for him in the winter, and I think this is a good length for him. So let's just continue going here. As you can tell, that was so quick, and I did almost this whole part of his side of his body. So we're going to go underneath. Now, he may have some knots, and you can't go through that with the clipper back. But you also can do the feet as well. Good boy. Okay. And we're going to go partially up his head. And then we're going to switch over to his other side. There you go. Good boy. And we're going to do this side quickly as well. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm left-handed. I like to do the butt on both sides right here. Okay. And you can tell it's taking out a lot of hair. Good boy. Now you can use the clipper back for a lot of different things. You can use it for a lot of the scissoring. But I really pride myself in scissoring, so I like to do it with my scissors. But we can get the majority of the body done with just the clipper back. Let's try to put it a little bit out more so you can kind of see what's going on. Thank you, sir. I'm kind of still trying to get a hang of using the camera in my small face to groom and videotape at the same time. I see other people that do an excellent job. I just haven't figured out the angle yet. So now we're going to go by the neck. Okay. And I like to go partially underneath the head. And then right here. Hold the ear back. And then we're going to go up high. And this is the Sanitary. I kind of did a little bit already. But here we go. we're going to use it, and sometimes I like to use it in reverse. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break from the clipper back, and I'm going to go back with my wall on the same level as it was before, and I'm just going to clean up. You know, I kind of did the sanitary area a little bit before, but we're just going to clean it up a little bit right now. We're going to go reverse, and Stokely is not fixed, so he does have balls in between, so you have to be careful not to nick those because they are very delicate and thin. But here we go, and then we're going to go for the leg right here because he likes the pee-pee on everything. And we're going to go up. And I like with males for a sanitary cut, I like to go midway up just because they sometimes pee-pee right here, and we just want to have it as clean as possible. Excuse me. Now to get closer to the ball area, I'm going to lift one leg, and it's going to probably be hard for you to see, but I'm going to go forward towards the ball sack. And then we're going to turn him around. Thank you, good boy. We're going to put his leg up again and go towards the ball sack. We want to get enough, as much hair as we can off that area, since he is an older male that really pees everywhere. So he even has mats up there. Perfect, good boy. So let's lift him up really quick so I can kind of show you what it should look like. See right here. There we go. You see, very clean and nice. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to comb off all the extra body, and like you could use potentially a clipper back right here, but I just don't like to do that. I like to use my shears, and we're going to use it down at an angle. I really like that sanitary area clean, so I'm going to trim more on that angle. Okay, perfect. But do you see that the clipper back leaves it all one length when it's at least a poodle coat? The straighter coat's a little more trickier with the clipper back because you can leave track marks, and they actually do, when you purchase the clipper back, give you a video that's pretty extensive, and they recommend you watching it several times before you actually start to use the clipper back on clients. And I bought this, bless you, I bought this in January at the expo, and I'm still learning it. So we're just going to tip off a little bit on the tail, and then we're going to start out with the back leg. This is how I like to work the leg, and I like to do the face last because what the owner looks at first is the face, so we want to make sure that we use or utilize the most time on the face and making it look super cute. And I like for the Maltipoos to do a little visor on them. I think it's super cute. So then we're just going to continue on trimming. And let me grab my straight shear. This straight shear is so cute. It's discontinued, but it's from Washi. Washi's a great brand. I'm starting to transition all my shears to that brand, but they're pretty expensive. This is a $300 shear opposed to my curved and Aussie dog, which I love, but I believe that one was only $50 at the grooming convention, Groom West in California. Okay, so we're going to continue on here, and perfect. And then we just take the straight shear, and I know it's kind of hard because I cut upside down to view, and I think that's what I'm having the hardest time with on YouTube, is actually you seeing what I'm doing. I feel like I needed to put a GoPro on my head or something so that you have the same view as me grooming. That actually might be pretty interesting. I don't see any other YouTubers who use a GoPro while they're grooming their dogs. Perfect. So then we're just going to, I don't use the comb a lot, which is really funny. And I kind of just go around what the dogs feel like. If they feel like sitting down, I just go along with that. Perfect, good boy. And then we're just going to comb back and then do a couple more trims here. And then you see that the leg is done now. Good job, boy. So sometimes I turn the clipper back on because you can also vacuum a lot of this up right here. And I'm a kind of groomer that, unfortunately, accumulates tools on my grooming table. Even though I have a whole shelving unit next to me, I just like them being super close. So sometimes I do like to go over with a regular clipper, and this is what size it actually would be. It'd be the orange clipper, number 1 or ½ an inch. That's what the yellow closed makes when you're using the clipper back. As you can tell, that there's nothing really falling out because it's already been clipper backed. Perfect. I'm a perfectionist, so we just want to make sure. Okay. Excuse me, Stokely. Good boy. So then we're going to start with the back leg. I tried to comb out as much as I could. He did get a little matted because I think we had to wait a few more weeks than 12 weeks because something came up with his mom. So let's put him back. Good boy. And as you can tell, I don't loop the dogs that much, and that's because I always have my hands on them. You should never ever leave a dog unattended, even in the loop, because they can hang themselves, and that's when accidents can happen. They can tear their ACL or numerous other ailments that you just don't want to deal with. And I know a lot of the big shops are getting in trouble because they are not training their groomers correctly, and they just leave them and leave the dog unattended. If you don't have your hand, or at least one hand on here at all times, the dog needs to be off the table, period. Okay, so we're going to continue on. Thank you, Stokely. And we're going to be looking for a sister that's on the floor right now who likes to play with her. We're going to put the straight right here. Good boy. And then we're going to go in the back, and I'm going to go really close to the anal area. That's part of the sanitary. You want to make sure that it's pretty open, so when they go number 2, it doesn't get stuck in the fur, because it's not only difficult for the owner to get off, it's also very difficult for the groomer, because they usually leave it on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then it's solidified on the coat. And that's not comfortable for the groomer or the dog. So that's why we want to make sure that the sanitary area and the anal area is really cleaned up. Thank you, sir. So he's going to sit down right here. He often does this, and then he'll lay down, and then he'll get back up. And I'm okay with that. Other groomers maybe want to have the dogs stand up the whole time, but I'm okay with it. I work around it, you know, and that's all that matters. And I think it's beneficial because I cut upside down. I can get in some more crazy angles than other groomers that actually cut the right way do. But hey, to each his own. I actually went to beauty school when I was 18, thinking I was going to be a hairstylist, and I couldn't pass the board because I couldn't cut right side up. I was a left-hander in the 90s, and they didn't care about left-handers, so they didn't really often, at least in my area, didn't often give accommodations for left-handers. So it's either you don't cut with scissors, or you cut right-handed, or you figure it out. And I was a very resourceful girl, and I just figured it out. So right here I'm just going to use the regular clipper just to get an area that I just skipped over accidentally with the clipper back. Perfect. Good job, Stokely. So you see his head's still massively huge, but we're going to go over here, and you know, I like to usually do the neck so let me zoom out so you can see him. I usually like to do the neck a size shorter, so it elongates the neck. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to take the blue attachment from Wall, that's the number 2 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to take it over here, excuse me, Stokely. I'm going to pull up his neck. I'm going to do that part. I'm going to do behind his ears, and I'm going to flare out on the bottom. So that helps elongate and make them actually look or appear longer than they really are. Perfect. And I like to do the back of the head as well. Good boy. Okay, so this one, it looks like he's been really chewing on. So let's try to lightly comb that out. This comb is actually great. I just recently bought it from Wags. It is the Broche Grande Deluxe Brush, Frank's Universal Hunderbrushstem. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's from Germany. They're great. And it's pink, my favorite color, which is even more awesome. So we're just gonna comb out, and then we're gonna first start with, good boy, sit down for me, good boy, good boy. We're gonna first start with rounding of the feet. You don't want to typically, and well, most groomers typically don't want to show the nails. So we're gonna do a round foot like this and put it down. And then we're gonna start with a round foot on this side and put it down. Perfect, good boy. So let's comb right here on the top. It looks like he's itching there too. We always want to keep combing and combing and combing. I like to start out at the back. Hopefully you can see this, maybe. Let's try to put a better angle, shall we? There we go. So I like to start right here in the back, start making a straight line to start scissoring down the legs. Good boy. Perfect. And we're going to keep on going. So then we're going to lift the leg up, and you see all this stuff right here. We want to make this linear with everything else. Sorry, I don't know how much of that I've lost. The camera shut off. I wonder when it shut off. Hopefully it didn't shut off too far back. If not, I'll kind of reiterate what I went through that wasn't filmed. Okay, so we're going to go around circles right here, or a half moon. And when you put the foot down, you can kind of see. There we go. You can see it's like a straight. Straight all the way down, and then like a half moon at the end. Perfect. We always want to make sure that the comb, for the most part, and the grooming table are free of hair. Good boy. Perfect. Good boy, Sophie. Okay. We're going to go up. And we're going to comb up. Look at me, baby. So on both sides, you want to fluff it up. You can use a comb. I just sometimes use my hand. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Okay, good boy. So you see right here. And it's good to go with the comb because then you see all the knots. Like he has, I don't know why, but he just has a tendency to get really matted in the front, and it could be potentially because they crate him most of the time. So that's a bummer, but what can we do? Okay, good boy. So we're going to continue on. And then we're just going to, see everybody, we're going to make sure that's linear right here. Good boy. Right here is really the hardest place to go. I have to review that. I always like to go through a couple times. Good boy. Okay, so let's do the other foot. The other foot, for some reason, is easier for me, being left-handed. Let me know down below in the comments if you have a hard time with one side of the body because of being left or right-handed. Okay. Now we're going to continue. Here. And then you can probably see this side better. Maybe I should just be filming one side, the side that you can see, huh? Perfect. So we're just going to make that straight down. We're going to comb down a couple times to make it straight. I love these scissors. I cannot believe that they're discontinued. So I wanted to get the thinning shears with it. You know what's so funny is these are actually not dog grooming shears. Washi does sell dog grooming shears. My sharpener came over one time and he was like, yeah, hey, listen, this shear got accidentally ordered to me. Do you want it? Because you know, since I cut upside down, I use the smaller shears. A lot of people use the 8-inch shears, but for me it's difficult to do the crazy angles that I do upside down. So I like the small ones. Yes, it does take longer, but I'm okay with that. Hi, buddy. So we're just gonna go over here, go through this really quick. I don't like to do this area right here with the clipper back. Even with the longest setting, it kind of makes the rosettes show. And I don't like the rosettes to show unless it's a Westie or any of those breeds that actually have or need to have the rosettes show in the breed cut. Okay, so like the other leg, we're going to go down, make it all one size. Good boy. Good boy. Perfect. Oh, he's a very good boy, huh? Perfect, perfect. Good boy. Okay. You're right here. I'm just going to even it up a little bit. Thank you, sir. Perfect. Now to the face. So he does a teddy bear kind of visor face that his mommy likes. Let's comb out his head. Come on, buddy. We're going to first start out combing all the hair to the front. Okay, and we're going to hold his chin area, and we're going to first start with a longer cut straight across. Beautiful. Adhering to where the eyes are, be very careful. We're going to go all the way across. And that's kind of, if you could see, that's kind of how the visor begins. You see the visor area? So we're gonna comb, and that's why I kind of like doing this area right here, shaved down, because it really accentuates the visor look. So we're gonna continue and comb through. Okay. A few times. For some reason, he has a little gnat on his eye. We're gonna put it back. Well, that's you might have to do a couple times before it actually looks presentable. Good boy. Good boy. Now, I love this visor and I love how big it is, but it's not going to work out completely that tall. We're going to clip down with the same as the body, but slightly go in there. Not with full force. On both sides. You want to blend the head into the body too at the same time. Oh boy. You kind of see how it parts now. Sometimes the dogs get fed up with the face. Okay, so you see how the visor's kind of short now? We're going to get any substantial differences. Come here, buddy. You're fine. You see? line. You're fine. Good boy. You're fine. Good boy. Okay, just comb out again. Soften. So you want the illusion of that visor. Excuse me. You want the illusion of that visor, and you don't want any sharp lines. And you see, very cute head, right? So next we're going to start with setting the circle around his face. It's okay, buddy. I want to first address some of these darkness right here. I can get rid of some of them on the top. You gotta make sure, really gotta make sure that you're watching that tongue. We got to get rid of all the stuff that's in the mouth too, because that starts to rot around the teeth and cause damage. Good boy. Now we're going to get a couple over here. See? Much better, huh? Much better. Good boy. So we're going to start. It's okay. Okay. With the circle right here, you always want to start with the chin and then go up. I feel. Some people go upwards first, but in my brain, that doesn't work for me. So we're gonna bring the ear back. You want to make sure that you're watching the ear at all times. And see how I meet to the chin. And work all the way up. It's okay. Look at us. Good boy. And you see right here. We're going to put his ear up. Good boy. And right here, I'm going to get rid of that's the front part of the ear hair. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. I want to go up. And you stay here there. Good boy. Okay. So that's a pretty good rough circle so far. Huh, buddy? So we're going to close his mouth so we can see. Pet him, because he's a cute boy. And we're just going to soften those lines up. Good boy. And then we want to remove some of the hair on the top. Some of the Japanese, they really accentuate this right here. They use infusion. But for a regular pet dog that only comes in every 2 months, we want to make most convenient so they don't come back in matted. Good boy. So we're just going to continue to soften those lines up. How handsome you are. Okay, so then we're going to soften up all the way to a circle. You gotta look at the camera. And then what I like to do is to go back in with my curved shear. Good boy. Good boy. And go on again. Just to make sure It's just like a lot of detail, right, to make that teddy bear face, especially on a Maltipoo. Go up the nose, face. Perfect. Some people like to use a clipper here. I don't know about that one. If you're comfortable, then go ahead, but I'm not. It's okay. So the last thing is we're going to trim the ears shorter, like a lot shorter, kind of to make it mold into the face more. I like those miniature ears the most. Perfect. So then we're going to take the ears. Always make sure where the leather of the ear is. Sorry, my head's in the way. Do you see how cute the ear looks compared to the longer one? Huh. Oh boy. And then you can kind of really see where you need to continue on the shaping of her face. No, Stokely. Good boy. Boy. We're just slowly but surely trimming down the face. And then we're going to do the other ear really quick. Remember, always make sure you know where the leather is. Okay. So we need to make this a little bit shorter, and I'm trying to find where the ear leather ends, which is right here. Perfect. We like to make the round ear. Like a teddy bear. Huh. But you're cuter than a teddy bear. So let's go back with the smaller orange blade to go around the neck again. Why, but I really like the Andis finish here. Huh. For some some reason the dogs like it too, though. You want to make sure that this part, to make it a teddy bear face, excuse me, is off, so it illuminates or accentuates the circle. Yes, sir. May I help you? May I help you? You always do one side better than the other. So start with the good side and end with the bad side. Remember to get this front part out. You can really make that round. Go back to the ears too. Excuse me, may I help you? Look at that face. Say hello. Oh, my battery's dying, so I will come back with the full look in a second.